Are we on?
We are on. Hello.
Do I have chocolate in my teeth?
Yes, you do. How are you today, Bill?
I'm good.
I'm here.
How this setup feels weird to me.
You do not like it?
I don't know. Are you?
It's new and it's different and it's fun. This is how we used to do it.
I know, and I like it how we used to do it. I feel too tall.
Well, I am kind of in a sinking chair. I guess I could.
You want to switch?
Do you want to switch?
Like, I mean, if you
know
want
what
to,
you're
I can.
saying.
Look how big I look.
I actually would not like to switch.
Okay. We
Because
look
I
like
really like this chair.
we look like we're
You
filming
can sit back a little bit. Maybe that would be.
Elf.
We're at the Shire and you are Gandalf. Is that better a little bit?
Can you imagine if I had magic powers?
I do not even want to think about how you would wield them.
No, me neither.
You sent me a video today.
I did?
You did. And you said, this is something that we should think about. And I cannot, at this very moment, think about what that is.
Well, my brain's going crazy because I'm like, did I misfire something to you? I don't remember sending you a video.
I'll show you the video that you sent me.
Oh, this is where things go off the rails for me. Let me show you the video you sent me. Do you ever like send somebody a text that they would obviously know is meant for someone else, but you do it to set yourself up for that person because you're like so nice to them when they're not around? You're saying something really nice about them and you send it to them. Like you,
Oh, that's nice.
right? It's manipulative, is what it is.
Yeah. So it was the video that you sent me about how you were watching this person play guitar.
Oh yeah.
So here's the thing that Bill sent me. He said, I am looking at this guy on YouTube and it's like a younger version of me because he's playing all of these songs. And I'm like, I was thinking just like the whole time, like, Bill, those are some of like the most common, like best songs to play.
Right. I get that.
But
there's a lot of confirmation bias in everything I say.
Oh, okay.
No
just
doubt.
So you know. But I was like, it was so funny to me because I was like, this is some shit I would also do.
Really?
Like, this is some shit I would attribute to myself. Like, I'm old me looking at young me and who I could have been at this time. And I do that shit all the time. So it was just so funny because I was like, wow, me and Bill really relate on that.
Kid owns a guitar. Okay. So does half the population. And a piano. Okay.
He can play the piano and the guitar, and he's playing all of your favorite songs.
Yep. So here's where that went, though.
That was pretty crazy, though.
It will, and the shit on his walls were stuff that I had, you know. And he dressed like me. It's really weird. Remember when I used to wear polo stuff all the time?
Yeah, I do remember.
That's
that.
him. And I'm like, you need to bail out of that one.
Okay. Now I'm following the thread a little bit further.
Okay. It was startling.
Yeah.
The amount of
well, if
similarities.
It made you, I do truly believe that time is not linear.
Me too, 100%.
And so I think that possibility is a probable possible one in my brain.
Here's what, me too, and here's where it went. What if it took me 30 years of practice to get to where I could play the piano and the guitar like I can.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already there, and look how I'm 22. And my thought was, oh, what would I do if I had that many years left? And then I was like, well, fuck that. Can you do that? No, not yet. I'm working on it. What can you control? I can control where I go from here at 57.
Yeah.
So with the talent that I have or what I've been able to develop or whatever, what can I do from this point?
Yeah.
And not worry about, letting him make his own mistakes. Or do really cool stuff.
Just like shaking him, like, don't do this.
I almost said something really nasty. And so that's kind of, which was nice for me because I never make things about myself, but I always make things about myself, but not when it's
okay. You're a Leo.
Not when it's harmful or uncomfortable. And so that's what this one is. It's kind of cool. So I was having a conversation with my friend Melissa last night, and we were talking about that. And her point was the same. Okay, that's really common stuff, and you can't do anything anyway because you're not 22. But mentally, I'm 28, pretty close to that. And I don't identify the same way as the people I went to college with did or the people I went to high school with. I still have friends, but they live in a different world than I do.
Yeah.
Literally, it's hard to explain, but I think you understand it. I just don't have that thought process. Part of it is I don't have a family and, live in the suburbs and have a real job and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of free time out here.
And I think that's part of your problem.
It is, but it's also part of what makes that realization that, hey, you know what? Don't be pissed that you didn't do it when you were 25. Be happy with what you have now and what can you do?
Mm-hmm.
And so that led to, what can I do? What am I good at? And it's talking to people. And so how, and if the music thing doesn't relate at all, I totally get it, because it probably won't. The point is putting the work in to get good at what you want to get good at.
Yeah.
And then doing something with it.
Absolutely.
So that's where I am on that one. And I decided not to subscribe to his channel, not to make any comments, and to leave him the fuck alone. Because there's no world in which a 57-year-old trying to contact a 20-year-old plays well. It just doesn't, no matter what your excuse is, unless you're related by blood and you found this person. Other than that,
you said, hey dude, this might seem really weird.
And you know what? You said it yourself, Mr. Brown. Yes, Your Honor, I did. I said it's going to seem weird, but then I kept going. At what point did you decide it was a good idea? Oh, I never decided.
I never actually thought it was a good idea. I kind of thought it was terrible.
I just figured I'd wear myself out with it till I stopped saying no, and then I'd do it. I told we had Sports Shorts and More before this, and we were watching University of Oklahoma women's softball get down to their last strike and then hit a home run to win the game and a walk-off home run. And I said, you know what? I wish that I had that kind of ability in my real life, because I feel like I'm down to my last out and my last strike quite a bit. And if I could just foul a few pitches off and then swing one for the fences and knock one out, that'd be great.
That would be great.
Instead of like getting hit. That's the only way I get on base, if I get hit by the ball. That's getting old. That's my sports analogy for the day. Okay, so yeah, I did send you a video, and it was the guy.
I think that's just like, I don't know, that's a common occurrence with me of like, I don't know if I've talked about this on here or not, but like I'd be doing that stuff all the time of like thinking about how I can support my past self.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been so many moments in my past experiences where I felt just like a weird sense of comfort for no reason at all.
Do you remember?
I remember a very specific experience where I was sitting in like fetal position in the it was like in my basement in the closet where you put all of the like HVAC system and the hot water heater like in the little closet. And I was in that closet, and it has a little window outside. And I just remember crying and feeling so alone and feeling so broken, and just feeling like, this was when I was a very little girl, just feeling like nobody in the world gave a fuck about me. Like all of these things, obviously not in that language, and all of these things and just this negativity. And then like I look up in the window and like the sun is shining in at a very specific moment, and I just felt this weird sense of like, you're not alone in this,
mm-hmm.
and that there's hope on the other side. And I felt like a weird sense of like somebody was pulling me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like a really unexplainable experience. That's why I still like actively remember it so well, is because it was just a weird like whispering of emotion and of feeling of like, you're gonna get on the other side of this. And like there was somebody else in the room with me offering me that comfort. And there was one time when I was doing EMDR, and all of a sudden I went back to that moment specifically.
Okay.
And it was like a experiment in like, what would you tell your younger self, et cetera, et cetera. So like in that moment, in that EMDR session, I was like back there, and I was like literally speaking life into the little version of me in like such like an emotional way of like, you're going to get through this, you're going to get on the other side. And I had like a moment of realization once my therapy ended, and I was kind of like processing everything that I did in the session. I was like, what if that feeling that I felt in that moment of feeling so alone and then watching the sun shine in and that comfort that I felt, what if that was due in part to what I just did?
Yep. Well, you started us off great. Time is not linear. And you may have done that before you even got in that room.
Yeah.
You may have done it tomorrow, to that little girl in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But that's a pretty fucking amazing memory.
Yeah.
That shit's real.
I mean, I believe in that. There's so many examples of people sharing their stories like that too, that it's just like wild. Like it's hard to, for me, the very obvious thing would be to like downplay that experience. But I think for me, I love believing in it because like it makes me feel like, yeah, I am not doing well at this moment in time. Like in this very moment, I am not in a good place. But I know that there is a version of me in the future that is working to get me out of this place that I'm in right now.
Perfect way to say it. Don't let me put words in your mouth. But do you feel a little bit of, oh, you know who got me out of that room? I fucking did.
Period. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that I feel that way about a lot of my healing journey because there was a lot of my healing journey that like I did myself.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of, work and things that I did separate from other people, separate from community help, just separate from any type of guidance or like advice or like whatever, that I know when push comes to shove and worst comes to worst that like I will have my own back every fucking time.
That's amazing. I'm glad you have that memory. I'm glad you put it together.
Yeah.
You can take that really far. Do you ever think you're like pushing books on yourself? You just need to read this chapter right here. Or you need to, whatever it is.
Funny.
Like creating your own synchronicities.
Yeah.
You need to meet this person. You don't even know what they do or who they are. I'm going to set it up for me.
I've always wanted to do that, of like an experiment of like doing something, like doing like an inner child meditation or whatever, and then like leaving a trinket.
Yeah.
And then seeing if there's any memory come up of that trinket existing.
That's brilliant.
Or like doing a like future self, like higher self meditation or whatever, and then being like, hey, leave me something, right? Leave me something that I know I can connect. So then when I come across it in my waking life,
yep,
I will then know that like this was a message from my higher self.
Yep.
And I think about that a lot with like the poetry that I write. There's so many times where I've randomly stumbled upon a journal on accident and I've read the way that I was feeling at the time and my own words speak back to me in that moment. And I think like little pockets of those kinds of things are ways that happens.
That's pretty fantastic. I never thought about that. To being your own person that's doing, maybe I have, that's doing that for yourself and your life. I've told you about, I believe that when we die, we have that time, which is, again, not linear or relevant.
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
Where you see everything in your whole life. And so, I started talking to myself that I'm seeing, while I'm watching myself. I'll stop.
Yeah, that thing that you said. Yep.
We'll just stop and go, okay, I need some help with this part right here. What are we going to do? Or the Ashley thing, tell her I said hi. And I'm standing there and I'm like, she's right here. Goosebumps all over.
Yeah.
That's the next step. And I'm going to start Easter egging myself. The hell out of myself.
Easter egging yourself. I like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is about it is like I try to, and I have to be very careful about this because, and maybe you do too, I don't want to speak for you, but I have to be very careful about getting too woo-woo with myself, of like diving too deep into things of like being outside of reality, because like so much of my life I have spent like dissociated and outside of reality. And like I do fear falling down that rabbit hole of like being completely void of reality. And so I have to really like look at things very like in a grounded way as much as possible, or else my brain will just take that shit and have a field day.
I think when you say reality, when you said it twice,
like the present.
And I think that you're defining reality as what you're told is reality, what your eyes are telling you, what your ears are telling you. Because
information that I'm receiving from the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish we could see the electromagnetic spectrum is very broad, and our senses can only
Exactly.
So all this other stuff that's happening is reality.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not either taking it in consciously or paying attention to it.
Right.
But it's still reality, and I think
Mhm.
that's the bigger part of reality. More real than the street out here. You got to look twice before you cross. I just don't think we know how to put it all together.
Yeah.
But
and if I think too macro level like that, I will spiral out.
I can do that too, but you have time. You have years and years and years to not think about it if you don't want to. But I'm kind of getting to the point where I want to know.
Yeah.
What's behind the curtain. What am I really missing?
Mm-hmm.
And not because I think that I can manifest myself a yacht or anything, but because we're all living in this reality, and whatever I've been given, experiences or talents that I can help make someone's better.
Oh yeah.
Then I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was Ram Dass, and if I mentioned this earlier, I'm sorry, but that said, and this quote just blows me away. We're all just walking each other home.
Aww.
I know, right?
I love that.
Me too.
Fuck?
Exactly.
So cute.
Exactly.
That's gonna be the title of this one.
We're all just walking each other home. And if I can help you get there in a better way with less pain, more fun, then let's figure out how to do that.
Absolutely.
And that might be bending part of what we think is real. But your point is very well made. It's not worth spending a whole lot of your energy and time on, because
I think it's not even that. Like, I would love to, because I love this kind of stuff. I would love to expand on it. However, where my brain goes is I will go down that rabbit hole if I can manifest myself a yacht.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I just think myself into like all of these things, I'll be able to achieve it. Like, I can think myself into a hole in the ground, basically. Like, I believe that my mind sometimes is so powerful that anything is possible for me, and that's not the truth.
You know what? It's not the truth, because there's no one that would back you up on that. But I wouldn't tell you that's not true.
I just don't want to go down into the where the mental health issues start coming in, and that's where I have to toe the line a lot of the times.
I think when I get on the woo-woo side, that I wouldn't even be going down that road if I didn't feel like I was coming at life with my honest self forward and with the right intention.
Yeah.
Not to get myself shit.
Right.
And I know that's not what you meant, but what can I do that would make this existence better, make this walk home better?
And that's always what it's about, right? Any type of spirituality or any type of anything like that is always just a mode of security.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a lot of what it is for me when I'm feeling very insecure in my life, or when I'm feeling very dysregulated, or things are very out of place. I do go down that path of everything is controllable, because that's just that's when my OCD takes charge.
Well, you want to believe that too.
Yeah. And I really convince myself that it's true. Every day, if I just get up and I write in my manifestation journal that I will, and some people believe in this, so I really don't want to make fun of it, and I feel bad making fun of it, because some people really have done that and they succeeded, and it's been amazing for them. And some people really believe that, and some days I really believe that too, but I just have to be careful with my own mental health of going way too far into delusion.
Mm-hmm. I get that, and I think there is a total ability to manifest things in your life.
Oh, absolutely, I agree.
But I think that karma plays a role in that, or God, or whatever you want to call it, and it's much more effective if you have the right intentions.
Yes, I think intentions is the right word. It's all about intention.
And so I like that, because I think that I'm not nearly as selfish as I was, and I'm trying not to be selfish at all. And I think
I'm actually, really proud of you.
Thank you very much. It means a ton to me, a ton. And I think that when that's gone and humility is, just part of me, that's when you can start making things happen, because that's when the universe is like, okay,
Yeah.
he's torn himself down.
Mm,
So let's see what we can do now.
yeah.
I think it gives the universe a tool, turn myself into something that can be used for something good.
Yeah. I love that.
And then, then you got to find it.
Yeah. Do we have a question for today?
We do. It's a really good one.
I don't want to get super derailed in case
This is a really good
we want
question.
to go to the question.
The question is,
Oh my gosh, my earring goes out.
okay, if you could hire someone to handle one daily task for you for the rest of your
Oh
life,
my god.
what task would it be and why?
Food. I would have a personal chef. That would be the one, because that's the easiest question in the world for me to answer, because food is the one thing I struggle with more than any other things. If I had somebody who was like making me food every single day and just like me never having to worry about food ever again, I think that I would be able to literally become the president of the entire world. Like, that's how impactful food is to my life and my mental health. Like, that's how much of a struggle food is for me. I think about it all the time. I'm never not thinking about food. Like, it really, like, it is so much a part of my OCD, and like I have an eating disorder, obviously. And it is so much a part of, and I have an interesting eating disorder too, because it's not about body image at all. It's called avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, ARFID. And which sounds like a Bop It game, but
Arvid, twist it.
Exactly. Which, it's for me, it's derived out of OCD, and I've had it for so long. I think back to my childhood, and I never knew that this had a name for it until very, very recently in my early 20s did I figure it out. And it came as such a shock to me, because I was like, oh, this is what's going on with me. Cool. But yeah, it's one of those things where I really, really, really struggle with it. I struggle to find food. I struggle to keep food. I struggle to want food. And so if I just had somebody who would just take care of food for me, and like, that would be the one thing that I would do. And I feel like every other aspect of my life would truly fall in line if that was the case.
What would that look like? I mean, so I thought before, why don't we just intake exactly what we need every day, calories wise, electrolytes wise, vitamins wise, and not worry about what it tastes like and all that stuff,
If I could have somebody make me like an omelet breakfast that was full in all the nutrients, a nice salad for lunch, and then a nice little dinner, that's all I would do. Maybe some snacks along the way.
What if that person is you and you're just doing it a day ahead or 2 days ahead?
The thing is, with my ARFID, I can't do leftovers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, I knew there had to be twists.
Yeah, so with so ARFID works in conjunction with my OCD, because like avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, you are avoiding that food or that thing for some reason, right?
Right.
And for me, it's contamination. A lot of the reasons why I don't eat the food that I do.
And so
a lot of the reasons why I don't eat meat, one is for health reasons, and it's really helped my endometriosis, but for the other, every time I eat meat, I get sick. So I just started to avoid meat because it would make me sick.
So from the contamination standpoint, that's kind of easy for your brain to say, if it's a leftover, it could be contaminated.
Yeah.
So it's automatically off the table.
Exactly.
Okay, well, maybe that's helpful because
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about leftovers.
Mm-hmm. But then it comes into play of, well, then I have to make myself food 3 times a day, and my metabolism is so high, and I'm not eating enough during the day usually because of my restrictions that I have, that I then have to eat multiple snacks throughout the day as well. So I always have to be eating. If I'm not eating, I feel like crap, or I get really anxious.
Have there been periods like lately or as a grown-up where you have not been worried about it, that you have either lucked into it a couple days in a row or had it set up beforehand, you knew what you were going to eat? No. It's fascinating to me because on the structure, on the surface, it seems like, and I wasn't trying to fix it, was let's just break it down into the steps and see, and okay, why can't we do this, and why can't we do this, or can we do that? Because it seems so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a good metaphor for everything that people deal with in this building. Well, put your shoes on, walk around the block.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Go to the grocery
give you something
store.
to cry about.
Yeah, go to the grocery store, buy yourself frozen meals every week,
Mhm.
right? Because then it's like, for me, it's in conjunction with my OCD as well. So like everything that I eat has to, on some surface level, be at least a little healthy. I don't eat meat. I'm a pescatarian, so my options are extremely limited with that. And there are foods that I've eaten that have made me sick one time, and I can never eat them again.
Mhm.
And like it's like stuff like that.
I'm like that with mud. I tried that when I was a kid.
Shut up. So like it just really limits my options. So if I could eat out every day, like 3 meals a day, I'd absolutely do that, because that's the easiest thing for me to do. Because by the time I even realize that I'm hungry, I'm starving, and then I get anxious about the fact that I'm that hungry, and then the anxiety makes me not want to eat anything.
Can you get food at any restaurant?
No.
You have to be close enough to a place.
Yeah. So this is where the chef would come in. This
Yeah.
is where me having my own personal chef.
How would you
would be
jack that
beneficial.
up? How would that not be the solution for you?
How would my brain basically fuck that up for me? That my chef was poisoning me?
Okay. I was in a relationship like that one time.
That would be a way that my brain, or, you know, they'd make me something and I'd be like, well, I don't want to eat this today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'd be one of those things. But ideally, in the ideal world, right? If we're talking ideally, Fantasyland, utopia.
Yeah.
Right? In the morning, we'd talk about what I wanted to eat throughout the day. They'd send me a text, hey, what do you want for dinner? They'd make it.
Okay, let's pretend like you did. You have a chef that lives at your house and can get you anything you want. Would that fix your problem?
I think it would help. Absolutely.
Would you morph into a different type of OCD?
Well, here's the thing. Is my OCD, I have multiple different types of OCD, which is really great for me.
Yay. I'm a collector. Another badge.
I think, and here's how it would help, is I think that it would help remove the focus from the one thing that I struggle with, because you have to feed yourself, right?
Right.
And it would help me then heal from all these other things over here. And by having that time to heal from all these things over here, the food stuff will become less intense.
Right.
The food stuff is so intense because it's something that I actively have to keep doing. It's like a re-traumatization every single time I try to eat.
Yeah, it's like one of 2 or 3 things you literally have to do to survive.
Exactly. And so that's what makes it so annoying, is that like if my basic needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like if my food was good, my sleep would improve. If my sleep would improve, I'd be able to like increase my window of tolerance. My increased window of tolerance would help me deal with all my trauma shit.
And I think that's true. The reason I ask is when I've got something that is weighing on me like all day, every day, and then I fix it, I don't have that, oh, yay, now I can do whatever I want to do, because my brain's like, I've been telling you about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would definitely probably leak over into my relationship OCD or my, you know, I think it would still exist in some ways. Like if I can't leave my water bottle out of my sight. If I leave my water bottle out of my sight, I have to wash it. I have to wash it and refill it, and I can't. So any type of drink, anything that I have, I cannot leave it in I can't take my eyes off of it, leave the room, come back, and still be okay with it.
And you know what? That's kind of understandable. Did anything ever happen? Like, were you ever poisoned or?
Without saying so many words, there have been some things.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that.
So your brain didn't just make that up.
Well, I think some of it is made up. I think that some of it is spilling over from other things that have happened to me, because I've never been poisoned or anything like that, but I've always struggled with food to the point where, like, when I was younger, I was forced to eat things I didn't want to eat. We'll just leave it at that. But also in the same vein of, like, it was in a very harmful way, but then it was also in like a mildly inconspicuous, like, you know, there were times when my mom was like, oh, I made you your favorite cooked carrots. And I was like, I hate cooked carrots. I've told you that like a million times that I hate cooked carrots. Why are you saying that I love these? She's like, oh, I thought you told me that you like them. And I was like, no, I don't like them. And then it would be a situation where my dad would be like, you have to eat this because that's money that you're wasting.
Yeah.
Right? Like there were so many so many instances when I was a kid, we'd go out to dinner. I would just order a salad because I knew if I ordered anything super big, then I didn't eat it.
You're responsible for it.
My dad would get pissed off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then there were, other not family related traumas where I was forced to eat things I didn't want to eat. So it's just all convoluted.
So you think your mom didn't know, or was she gaslighting you?
I'm really not sure.
That's interesting.
I'm really not sure because I think it's a twofold thing. I think it was just like, I think honestly, if you want it's a twofold because if you ask every part of my internal family system, they'll have a different answer for you on that one. But I think rationally, it goes two ways. I think one, it was just simply just neglect. And two, I think that there was some things where she like paid so much attention to my brother that like she would take things that my brother really enjoyed and then put them onto me because she thought like, oh, Amanda said that, when it was in reality my brother. And I think, she's always not had very good memory issues. So I think that's due in part. But, there is a very specific part of me internally that is like, yeah, she did that shit on purpose.
And I get that because the way that should have played out, I think, in my head is they're your favorite. Oh, no, they're really not. I don't like them. Oh, shit, my bad. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is she'd keep doing it.
But because it didn't happen. Because
she would forget that I said, I don't like these. And then literally the next week, the same thing would play on repeat. Same thing with and I can remember all of them too, because it was such like a standout moment for me as a kid of like just not being listened to. One of the many, where it was like scalloped potatoes, cooked carrots, like anything with that specific
texture's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not like, and every single time she made them, it was like, oh, I didn't know you didn't like those things.
Man, I'd blow my mind after a little bit.
And it just like, it kept happening. And so I think that's a lot of like that reinforced of like not listening to my needs.
Yep.
I think those kinds of things play into my OCD.
Well, that makes a lot of sense when you said these things spill over, because that not being listened to is every part of your existence when you're a child.
Oh, absolutely. It's your whole world.
Everything is being listened to.
Yeah.
In your environment. So yeah, there's tons of spillage there.
Yeah. So I think my body now is like, if we don't catastrophize everything, you're not going to listen to me. So
better to err on the side of caution.
Because everything is, just a way for your body to survive, right? Everything is just a survival mechanism.
Yeah, it really is.
Unfortunately. What about you?
Yeah.
What would your thing be?
I mean, I could do a lot of different ones, but someone give me my medicine at the right time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be responsible for it. Because I still fuck it up. And one of the few things I remember is I was teaching a CPRS class years ago, and a kid, his name was Dustin. That's his HIPAA name. He said, Hippodustin. He said, you know what blew my mind one day? I realized I don't have to take my meds right for the rest of my life. I just have to take them right today. And I was like, psh, because it's so overwhelming to think I got to pay my fucking mortgage every month for the rest of my, I got to pay my cell phone. I mean, I'm still fighting with AT&T. We don't see eye to eye. They want me to pay my bill and I don't want it. And so they turned me off.
What if, and here's me trying to be solution master over
here.
Yeah,
right. Because you're a guy. I get it.
Yeah, no, exactly. What if you made it fun? I know for you, that's kind of like a thing.
You got my attention.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe setting an alarm every time that you need to, and put your medicine in a freaking Pez dispenser or something.
Oh, I like that.
So every time the alarm goes off, you get a Pez dispenser of your medication.
I like that.
Like something, just make it fun. Because I know that's, you have to Pavlov yourself, basically.
I do. That'd be cool. To be fair, I'm much better than I was.
Oh, yeah. I would agree with that.
So that's good. But yeah, that would be one, because that would just take it off the list of even thinking about then.
Yeah, exactly. Like you wouldn't have to be so like concerned about it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's how it is with my food thing too. It's like it would be one less thing I would have to be concerned about all the time.
You know what? This is sad but true. I see that now, but because we talked about me, so when I see it in myself, I'm able to see it in you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, sometimes that's how it goes. It's the beauty of peer sport.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, you're right, because then you're like, all right, let's rock and roll. Here we go. We got that out of the way.
And I feel like, are you somebody that can like survive without eating for like a whole day and then
Yeah.
eat one big meal at
Yeah.
one time? I'm not like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like, and I have this with my ADHD friends because when I tell them all those things, they're like, just go without eating. Like,
You're right,
it's
yeah.
not an issue for me,
Yeah.
right? But for me, it is such an issue because when I go without eating, like I have all these symptoms. Like I get really dizzy, I get really lightheaded, like I have hot flashes. Like there's all these things that come into play, like when I don't eat, because it's in relation to my anxiety because I know that I'm not eating because I'm so obsessed.
And you know what? And those things are fair because those are physiological responses to not having food.
Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up about that. I didn't eat anything. I didn't eat anything for the 24 hours that were yesterday, but I ate some like really early this morning. And that's pretty common. That's easy for me. I need to look into fasting because I'm doing it without, doing it right. And I think it was the great poet George Michael who said, if you're going to do it right. Right. It may have been Andrew Ridgely, but one of them. He was the whole thing behind Wham. He was a really brilliant guy.
Yeah.
When it comes
Behind
to songwriting.
Action management.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because the idea behind whole health action management is instead of saying I gotta quit doing something, I'm gonna add something good to my routine, and then over time it's gonna squeeze out the bad. It's like when you start working out. At least for me, I start eating better.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where working out has been a huge help.
And I didn't mean that in relation to you, but you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
I just meant when I like the concept of not having to say I can't. I'm not allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
What am I allowed to? Oh, I like the Pez idea, and then I was thinking, okay, whose head would be on my Pez dispenser, and how can I get it made? And I know someone with a 3D printer, but I don't know how that works. But
they could 3D print you a Pez dispenser, 100%.
Oh, I know, but I want the certain head on it.
Would it be George Michael?
Oh, wow! Now I want two of them.
Just for posterity's sake.
He had an accident. He was driving a car when he lived, and he passed away. Did you know that? It's crazy. Yeah.
R.I.P. George Michael.
I know. And so he was driving a car, and he ran into a convenience store and put a hole in the wall, kind of like our friend Mills.
That's how he died?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
just
like a Thursday. Yeah. And so someone came along and wrote graffiti on it. Wham.
They saw the opportunity and they
I'm like, I want to party with that person.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Been waiting my whole life for this. Wham.
It's so great. I love that. It's hilarious. You know what I have been thinking? Is there's this subscription service that is called like Factor, and they do like chef prepared meals that you can get delivered to your door.
Yeah.
I think I might do that. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
My brain talks me out of it because technically that's leftovers. You get them all in one,
mm-hmm.
and you have to put them in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it's leftovers. If I put it in the freezer,
that's what I was going to ask you.
Then it's a frozen meal.
Okay, so you're okay with the freezer?
Yeah.
No, I get that. Hey, I cleaned. No kidding. I cleaned out my refrigerator this morning. All the food and everything that was expired, and my cabinet. I have. I'm not kidding you. I know the number. I think it's 25 things in my house that I could eat, and 10 of them are eggs. Okay, 4 of them are turkey hot dogs, so that leaves 11 things. One of them is a packet of like taco seasoning that you put in meat, but I don't have any meat. 2 jars of peanut butter. I had to throw away all my condiments except for my ketchup, my sour cream, which has 8 days left. And that's a hard conversation to have.
I did not realize until adulthood how quickly things expired because of how much my parents never threw things away.
Yeah, me too.
Like I did not realize it till adulthood. And then I went back to their house like for like a party or like a gathering or whatever. And I saw how many expired condiments were still in there that I was just using in the past. Like when I was growing up, I never looked at an expiration date.
Right.
I just trusted them.
Yeah. Well, okay.
My mistake.
In the past week, I have eaten expired mayonnaise, mustard, sweet and sour sriracha sauce from Chick-fil-A.
Yummy.
I had to throw all 3 of those condiments out because they were all expired. I say mayonnaise. Dijon mustard. That had to go. I had to throw away my tortillas.
Yep.
They were expired. Yeah, literally, I'm like not much left. But I was like, I'm throwing away mustard because I thought you would know it was expired by if you pick it up and feel how much is left. But these were almost full. I had to throw away tartar sauce, and I love tartar sauce.
When that happens.
But I've eaten all those things because they've been expired for months, and I've been eating them still okay. But I cleaned everything out.
That's good. I'm proud of you. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Why did I bring that up? Clean out my fridge thing.
No clue. I don't remember.
What are you doing this weekend?
I'm going to therapy tomorrow. Finally.
Yay.
Last weekend I had Meredith's wedding. I got to show you the pictures.
Meredith got married?
She sure did.
In real life?
In real life. Not in fake life. Or HIPAA life. She got married in real life.
Okay, so this Meredith to me, let me do the math. Oh, Meredith to me is like 22 years old. She's older than you, right?
Yeah.
Couple of years?
Yeah.
So she's like 24 to me. Because I probably haven't seen her in 7 years. No, because I see you all the time.
Oh, got it.
But she's stuck there.
Yeah, last time you saw her, she was like 25, I think.
Yeah. And just a kid. And so now she's married.
Yeah.
Now, see, I feel like I have to look at her in a whole different light. She have babies and everything?
No.
You went to her wedding?
I did. It was a little backyard wedding.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was very cute. It was very adorable, and I loved it. And she looked beautiful.
You and Meredith were M1 and M2.
We were.
What was the M for?
Millennial?
Yeah, millennial. Oh my gosh, that's craziness.
I know.
If you showed me that picture after the last picture I remember of Meredith was you and her at our first open mic thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and then put those side by side and be like, oh my God, when did I get old?
Right, literally. That's how I felt.
Dang. Good for her. Are they in Columbus?
Yep. I guess this is growing up.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah. We had a symposium on Friday. It went really well.
Oh yeah, I was sick.
I know. I felt bad that you couldn't go.
Me too. Do you know? I got that from Melissa. She was sick for like 3 weeks. Lost her sense of smell.
Why would you hang around somebody who was sick?
Literally, what happened was I didn't, and then we went to her house, and it was like a 45-minute drive. And I remember thinking, I don't need to be sitting in a car with this person with the windows rolled up for 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the next day, I'm sick, and then 2 days later, I'm well because I've been taking antibiotics for 6 months. When she got on antibiotics, she was done in 3 days. I just was already
there. It is
what do you call that when you go out and you drink before you go out? Preloading or whatever.
Yeah, pre-game the bacterial.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Come on in, y'all. You're gonna be dead pretty soon. So, yep.
Awesome.
So what are you doing this weekend? Therapy.
Going to therapy, and that's really all I have planned. I might take Evan to go to the movies or something tonight or tomorrow. I want to go see that friendship movie with Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. It looks really
I like
good.
Paul Rudd.
It looks really good. Have you ever watched anything Tim Robinson?
Who's Tim Robinson?
I Think You Should Leave.
Who's that? Who's in that?
Tim Robinson.
And
it's a skit show.
Oh no, I haven't.
You have to watch it. You would think it is so funny.
I'm gonna write that.
You gotta watch it. I Think You Should Leave first.
Okay.
And then Detroiters second.
Yay. Thank you.
They're on Netflix.
Oh, good. I think you should leave.
I'll text it to you.
And then what?
Are you writing down?
Yeah.
Text you. And then Detroiters.
I've been trying to think up.
You'll love it. Oh my gosh, it's such your type of humor too. It's so silly and stupid.
Good.
It's like it's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
You will literally, and then we have to talk about it next Friday.
Okay.
After you watch it.
I saw. Let me see if I can tell you who these people are. I don't think I can.
Are they comedians?
There are two dudes that do a YouTube show.
The Basement Yard?
I think it's TikTok, though. It's not YouTube. Let me tell you. And they're British.
Oh, Shits and Gigs.
Yes.
Shits and Gigs is really funny.
Okay, so I
Yeah, they're
watched
funny.
the first segment I've seen of that,
Mhm.
and the one dude's name is James, and the other dude's name I can't remember his
Yeah.
name, and they're talking, and James is like, they do their show on Thursday. I guess they record on Thursdays,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Don't you think about me when we're not together?" And the guy's not saying anything. He's like, "Well, when it's Wednesday and we're gonna record on Thursday, don't you miss me?"
I remember that one.
And he goes through all the stages of grief. You're fucking kidding me. Then he gets mad. Then he gets sad. He's almost crying about it.
I have to send you Basement Yard clips because you think that they were so funny.
Thank you.
You would love. You would love the Basement Yard.
Yay.
I literally just sent one to Julie the other day of them just like fucking up their words because she worries about her fucking up her words. And so I was like, proof everybody does it, and it's just like a compilation of them fucking up their words together.
Very interessante.
It's exactly.
This week on fucking up our words.
This week. And then the other day, oh my god, I did that the other day. What was it? Chord? Like a
electric cord.
An electric cord. I spelled it chord like a music chord.
CH.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, is that correct? I don't even know.
That's the British spelling, y'all.
Right. I do that sometimes. It's like a mung. I put a U in there.
You can do that. Favor.
What are you doing this weekend?
Well, I'm going to Kings Island today.
You are?
Yes, yay, and thank you.
Yay.
I can't wait. And I'm glad it's raining because people don't usually go when it's raining.
But you said, I don't care.
Exactly. As long as it's not lightninging. That's a hard word to conjugate.
Lightning.
Did you see, this is one thing from the news, and I don't watch the news, but something popped up on my YouTube the other day, and it was a picture of a boat, and it was like a pirate ship, and it ran into the Brooklyn Bridge. And it said, Mexican naval ship. You haven't seen this?
No.
Okay, well, it's not going to be funny. They have a pirate ship, basically. And I'm like, what are they doing with a pirate ship? Because the cartels have invisible submarines and UFOs. Maybe that's the problem in Mexico. And the U.S. must have been like, you guys ran into our bridge, and why do you have a pirate ship in the Navy? Are all your ships pirate ships? And I'd be like, no, we have like badass ships.
No, this was just the incognito ship to distract you while we took our invisible submarine.
Well, we took Treasure Island.
There you go.
I guess it's a cruise thing.
Oh, fun.
I was watching
Not fun for them because they crashed.
somebody talking about the budget for the defense budget, which is just fucking unbelievably ridiculous. And they're like, well, yeah, that money goes to the Navy, but the Navy has their own army, and that army has their own Navy, and that Navy has its own Air Force.
That's why our defense budget is so big.
Oh my gosh. You know, in a different world where we don't spend money on killing people, it might be fun to live in.
Right.
I was at the Air Force Museum, which is in Dayton, the other day, and they have this little exhibit from the Holocaust telling stories of people who were in Dayton or were tangentially, related in some way. And then 2 hangars over is the ICBM hangar with nuclear weapons and stuff. And so the Holocaust part is, 30,000 people were killed at this, was a horrible thing, concentration camp. And then 2, buildings later, and here's how we killed 40,000 people with 1 bomb. And we burned them up. Okay, 2 buildings ago, you were telling me that was a horrible thing. Mm-hmm. And now you're telling me how to do it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with this place? I can't imagine.
We're in the bad place.
I can't imagine putting anything together knowing that the whole job was to kill people.
Have you watched The Good Place?
I like The Good Place, but I flamed out on it maybe before it was over.
Before the season 1?
No, I watched season 1.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Me too. I flamed out before it was ever.
You did.
Just the first season's the best season.
Oh, it's awesome.
Just wanted to make sure you.
It's a great idea. You never know who anybody is, and I love that. I think there's a lot of that in real life. What you think is happening is not really what's happening. And you know what really pissed me off is if when we die we don't find out. You just go to something else, and you're like, motherfucker.
Have you heard of the egg theory? That every single person you come in contact with on Earth is just a reincarnation of yourself at a different time in the space-time continuum. So we're sitting here, and you are a version of me in a different timeline.
Yeah, and I'm actually you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's enough to spin me out. That's enough to spin me out in spiral.
I got bad news for you. You had to throw away your Converse high tops because they wore out
Well, when did you buy them?
3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
When did
Well,
you?
that's no good time.
Yeah. No, I have not heard that, but I would think that I'm alternately hilarious, deliciously good looking, really mean.
Deliciously good looking.
That came out wrong. And someone I just don't want to be around.
Cool.
But I like the nonlinear time thing.
Hey, full circle. We're coming full circle.
Yeah.
Podcast. We don't do that often.
I know, right? And I was just thinking of how we could wrap it up non-linearly time-wise. I like the idea that everything is happening all at once, all around us.
Everything everywhere all at once.
Yep. And I do that with Mills. You know, I'll sit and I'll think about her sitting, you know, right there, and I'll think you're still right here, you know. But then so are you and Kat, and I got to feed you guys and get you out of there. So. And I'm locked out on my front porch at the same time. So I'm knocking on my door, hoping Mills is going to answer it.
In one of the timelines.
Right. Oh my goodness, this was fun. Thank you for doing
this.
this.
Fun.
I liked it, and it was a good question. And
That's a good question.
You know, shit, man, I hate that you live with that, and
I hate it too. It's the worst part
I
of my
know,
life.
and we all live with something. It sucks.
Yeah.
But this, you know what? This 45 minutes or this hour makes my week better. So thank you for spending it with me.
I'm happy. Yeah, happy
Yep.
to.
Have a good weekend.
Bye, everybody.
I'll be jumping off the rides at Kings Island. One bolt
Jumping
away.
off them?
You never know.